After nearly every other country in the world had already taken action, President Trump today grounded Boeing 737 MAX 8 and 9 jets. That's after a deadly crash in Ethiopia on Sunday that killed 157 people, the second crash in less than 5 months. Joining me now is a former FAA inspector, David Susi, the author of Malaysian Airlines, Flight 370. Also, Sara Nelson, the international president of the Association of Flight Attendants. Hello to both of you. Interesting day. Interesting how this has all played out. David, I'm going to start with you. The Washington Post reports that in conversations about this issue, the president said that the 737 MAX 8, quote, sucks, and that the 737s paled in comparison to the Boeing 757, also known as Trump Air Force One. What's your reaction to the president's comments, David?
I'll tell you what, 737 MAX 8 does anything but suck. I mean, it's a great airplane. There's no question in my mind. It's been the backbone of this industry for years, and the improvements that they put on this airplane are leaps and bounds ahead of what anything that's been produced before. This is just, it's a problem. They're dealing with it. They didn't deal with it as quickly as they should have, in my opinion. But this is a great airplane and will continue to be a great airplane after this issue's been resolved.
Yeah. You disagree, Sara?
Do I disagree with the president's tweet? I absolutely disagree with the president's tweet. I think that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And the fact is that Boeing aircraft are made by incredible professional machinists out in Washington State who for decades have built incredible flying machines. And if they had been given the chance to get these planes on the ground and address this issue, they are certainly qualified to do that and could do that very well. Yeah,
and again, it was reported in the Washington Post. It wasn't a tweet, but listen, I just want to get to what you said earlier today. You said lives must come first always, but a brand is at stake as well. And that brand is not just Boeing, it's America. What America means in international aviation and by its extension in the larger world more generally, that we set the standard for safety, competence, and honesty and governance of aviation. Is the U.S. leading from behind on this, Sara? Is that what you're thinking?
This was strange because the U.S. has led from the beginning of flight. This is where flight first took off. And the rest of the world has often looked to the U.S. for the gold standard here on safety and on oversight and on pushing forward with new technology and advancements and training of all of our aviation professionals on the front lines. We're seen as the world's leader on this. And this was just an odd, very strange set of circumstances where the U.S. was coming from behind here. And I think that it is an extension of what we saw during the shutdown as well. So,
David, I had you on the other end. I have a listen. I do a lot of segments on the show. Didn't you think that they should be grounded until, didn't you say that? Did you say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
You did. So then why was the U.S. the last country to ground this MAX 8 after 2 deadly plane crashes in nearly 6 months?
Well, Don, I believe that it's because they had skin in the game. This is the same agency, the same regulatory body that certified the airplane in the first place. So how this, I believe, was being viewed is the fact that they certified it. If they come back now and say, oh gosh, we were wrong, we shouldn't have certified it, it's got to be grounded now, it puts egg on their face and they've got to admit that they were wrong. I think that their ego got in the way of themselves and they didn't act rationally on this. I agree with the other guests that this should have been done. It's the FAA leading and always has led. I was with the FAA for 17 years as a professional in the FAA, and that we always set the examples. We taught China how to do their regulatory system. We've taught the entire world how to do this, and the fact that we didn't lead by example here is really, really a shame.
Sara, I've got to ask you, listen, other than 9/11, right? We've never seen a stoppage like this before. How long do you see this lasting?
Well, actually, that's not true. We did have the 787 on the ground for about 4 months while we fixed the issue with the lithium battery there. So this is not unprecedented.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
This is not unprecedented. And, you know, what we're hearing is that maybe this can be resolved in a couple weeks. We'll see. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this is a transparent process that we can all follow and that we can all have confidence in. And, Don, just one other point here that's really important. Harvard Business School still teaches business leadership, and it teaches the case of the Johnson & Johnson Tylenol case when cyanide was in those bottles. That was not Tylenol's fault, but the CEO took the step of taking all those bottles off the shelf to make sure that there was that integrity, return on integrity that he created for that brand. And that is the gold standard. That is what leadership does. And that's what should have been done here. And that's what we need to expect from our leadership in the government and in the industry as well.
I got to ask you, David, since you're there in Denver, about this major snowstorm that's going on, the cyclone bomb or whatever they're calling it. What is going on there? What's happening?
Well, this morning, I came in this morning early, and it was coming down hard. And then all of a sudden it seemed to have stopped. I lived through a hurricane one time, and it reminded me of that. But I feel like we're right in the eye of the cyclone right now, waiting for the next blast, which is supposed to come here. CNN wouldn't even let me go home. They said, we're going to get you a hotel so we can make sure you make Don Lemon's show tonight. So I didn't go home. I had to stay here, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
They had to put me up here, but I'm not sure I'm going to get home tonight. We'll see.
Priorities. We're glad you're safe. We just wanted to keep you safe. Thank you, David. Sarah, enjoy New Orleans. Say hi to all my friends and family down there.
Thank you. Happy to be in your home state, and I'm glad David's safe too.
Yeah. Thank you both. See you next time.
All right. Take care.
And thanks.